Hello, my name is Piotr, and I'm the founder, product owner, and developer behind the goodsheet app. Thank you for signing up. I appreciate your time doing this. In this video, I want to explain why I created goodsheet app. Furthermore, I'd like to present all the critical views and functions, so hopefully it will be easier for you to understand the concept behind it. As you can read on our landing page, around 10 years ago, I had a web agency and was on the brink of bankruptcy. I made a few critical mistakes that got me into massive debt. For a moment, I was hopeless because I couldn't understand why our money was so quickly spent, even though I regularly got client budgets. You may have similar experiences with managing your business. It's easy to get lost in budgets, invoices, and costs. 10 years ago, I created a spreadsheet that became a base for this app. It's helped me get out of debt. I started better understanding where my money goes, and I made many more good decisions. After a few years, I had a friend in a similar position to mine, and when I gave him the template of my spreadsheet, he said to me that he didn't like using Excel. This was the moment when I thought, maybe I could create an app that is better than Excel and that people will want to use because they don't feel scared of using the tool. I couldn't program back then, so I had to start learning. After 5 years, I present the app that hopefully will change how you manage your business. I wanted to create a tool to bring back the power to small business owners who, with so many things on their minds, could use some good night's sleep. I hope you will like it. Now, let's take a look at the app. We start here in the dashboard view. As you can see, this is your financial summary. The actual data gets automatically updated whenever you update your income or costs. On the right side, you can see a module called Work on Your Streak. I created it to underline the importance of updating the data regularly. To get one streak record counted, all you need to do is to log into the app. I designed it this way because there are times when you might need to change something in your finances a few times per week, and there are weeks when you don't need to change anything. For now, if you didn't do anything yet in this app, all you see in the dashboard view are zeros in every tile. That's completely fine. Below the summary, you can see two big buttons. Visit Slack community and check YouTube tutorial that you are currently watching. If you purchase the partner subscription, you will get all the app's features unlocked with an additional community group on which I want to give more support to the users that want to get from the app as much as possible. If you don't need access to the community, you can purchase the Solopreneur plan or stay with a free account, which is also completely fine. Below, in the right corner, you can see a small gray link encouraging you to write me your feedback. It lets you send the email directly to my inbox. I read every email and I will try to reply to everyone as well. If you write me a message, please be patient when waiting for my response. Now, let's go to the second view, income. This is the view for all your incomes. As you can see, you have 3 columns: ongoing budgets, upcoming earnings, and accounts. On the right, you have a small module summarizing the values from these columns. Let me explain why I created these 3 columns. The first column is for your budgets. If you have a project that will get you some money in the foreseeable future, but it won't be this month, you should put it in the ongoing budget column. The second column is upcoming earnings. If you are awaiting the money from your clients and will get paid this month, you should put those records in this column. The third column is accounts, and this is for all the money that you currently have access to. It might be your bank account or the cash at hand. Let's add some records to the columns to understand how the app works. Let's assume that I have a client that I work with a $20,000 budget, and I want to add this budget to the ongoing budget column. This client is called Piotr, and the project is to create a new website. I'm clicking on the Add Budget link, and then on the right sidebar, I want to select the client. I still need to add a client, so I need to do that now. I click on the Add Client link and write the name Piotr and click Save. Now, because the client has been added, I can fill out the other fields. The description field will be website, and the amount will be $20,000. My main account is in dollars, so all my income will currently be in this currency. Now, I can click Save, and the first budget record is visible in the column. Let's assume that I finished part of this project and expects to get paid for it. I can duplicate it and edit it, split the budget, or add an earning to the second column. Let's check every option. Firstly, I will duplicate the record. I click on it, then I click on the button Duplicate, and immediately I can see that the two identical records are in the left column. I can now edit both of those records accordingly. For this month, I will get paid $5,000. I must deduct $5,000 from $20,000 if this project is fixed. So in one record, I will have $15,000. In the second, I will have $5,000. Whenever you edit the record, it gets saved when you stop typing. I have the records edited, so I can move the one I should get paid this month to the second column. I select the record and move it from the first column to the second one. As you can see, the summary at the top gets updated whenever you move the records between the columns. Let's split one record instead of duplicating it. I select the first record and click on the split button. As you can see, above the original record, I have a new one with $0. Now I can just put the number for the new record. Let's assume that this will have $5,000 as well. The moment I stop writing, the amount gets updated in both records. Now let's try the third method. I click on the Add Earning link below the second column, select the client and write the description. I want to write website, third payment. And the last thing is the amount, let's say $5,000. When I click Save, the record is visible in the second column. Okay, we now know how to duplicate, split, and edit tiles. But the feature I am most excited about is drag and drop on the account. Let's say that the Pied Piper paid for the first part of the work. I select the record from the second column and move it to my account. As you can see, when I move the record to the account with the same currency, the account has a dashed border, communicating that you can drop the record to this account because it has the same currency. When I drop it, the amount from the earning gets added to the account, and the record disappears from the second column. But what if I did that accidentally? I need to click on the settings link, then select Show Paid Records, and now I can see the record that I moved on the account. If I did that by mistake, I can click revoke and the amount will be deducted from the account and the record will return to being active in the upcoming earnings column. You can edit any record as you like. Let's assume I have much more money and need to edit the amount from my main account. I now have $5,000, but I should have $15,000. I click on the account, edit the amount, and it gets updated. The module on the far right, called Total Income, counts the sum of all three columns and gets updated whenever you update any record on this page. If you finish the onboarding checklist that you have on the bottom right, you will have access to two features that I like the most: notes and to-do lists. As far as I know, you can't add tasks to your spreadsheets in Excel. Let's do that now to one of our records. Let's say you want to add some notes to one budget record. I click on the record and then click on the notes. I want to type here something important that I need to remember. Let's write, they have a new app launch on the 1st of May. When you stop typing the note, it gets updated in the database and you don't need to worry about. You can write in the notes as much as you like. There is no limit to characters, so you can get creative and need not worry about it. Now, let's add some tasks. For this stage of the project, I will need to create wireframes. I will also need to search for stock photos to make the wireframes look more attractive. The last task will be to replace lorem ipsum with the actual copy. This is a crucial task when you are a designer. Now that I have the tasks, I can get back to them whenever I need and check them off the list. This makes managing the company much easier because you can think of it as finance-oriented to-do app. You can add notes and tasks to any objects, incomes, accounts, and costs, which gives you plenty of possibilities to organize your company the way you need. The last thing I want to explain from this view is settings. When you click on this, you see three checkboxes. The first one, prices in main currency, will change the prices in foreign currencies if you have such accounts, earnings, and budgets. This is convenient when you have clients from abroad. Let's check this function now. I will add another account in euro currency. I need to click add account, then I need to select the currency, and I need to type the name of the account. Let's call it additional. Let's assume that some client from the EU has already sent me some money, which is 10,000 euro. As you can see now, because in settings I have the option prices in main currency selected, the amount got automatically converted from euros to dollars. When I click on the settings and uncheck this option, I will see the actual amount in euros. Depending on the situation, you might want to have this option selected or unselected. I work with clients from abroad and like to see how much I will earn in my main currency, so I leave this option checked. The second option is hide decimals, which is mainly aesthetic. If you want to see the sense of each record, you need to unselect this checkbox. I like to leave it selected. I already showed you how the option Show Paid Records behaves, so I will not repeat that for now. The last thing I want to show is the cheat sheet you already saw after logging into the app. It would be better for some users to have it visible if they want to refresh how they should use the app. This is why I also have the button for this video tutorial left in the dashboard. Whenever you need help immediately, you'll get this from this video, hopefully. If not, you can always write to me by clicking the gray feedback link in the dashboard. Now that we got through all the income page functions and features, let's move to the costs page, which works a bit differently. As you can see on the costs page, you also have 3 columns. Let's start from the right. We have one-time costs, in which you can add the costs that are not repeated. Let's say you need to buy a one-time license of some software, or you would like to buy a new camera or a new MacBook. It's a one-time cost if you purchase it by paying the whole price upfront. The second column is for recurring costs. When you need to pay for something regularly, this is a good column to leave the records on. For example, you pay yourself a monthly salary and you need to pay the rent for the office. Those are the recurring spendings, which is why this column is called that way. The third column from the right is for accounts, which we had on the income page as well. You might wonder, wait a minute, why accounts column is both on the income and costs page? And this is a great question. I put this accounts column with both costs columns because this way you can deduct the cost amount from the accounts. Just as you would move the income over the account to add it to the account, you can move over the cost from both of these columns on any account and deduct the sum you paid for this cost. There is a slight difference between the one-time and recurring costs. When you move a record from one-time costs over the account and drop it there, the sum gets deducted and the record is marked as paid. When you do that with recurring costs, the record is not labeled as paid because those records need to stay in this column as long as they require being regularly paid. Let me show you how it works. I will add a cost to one-time costs column. I'm clicking on the link below. Now I need to choose a category of the costs. The categories work similarly to the clients. You can create one and then assign many records to one category. In the future, this will help you understand how much you pay per cost category. I will create the category furniture. Let's say I want to add a chair I need for my office. It will cost me $200. I save it, and now I can see that it is in the column one-time costs. Now let's move this record over to one of my accounts. It does not matter which account you choose. You can deduct the cost from all your accounts regardless of the currency differences. I designed it this way because usually people receive money on specific type of account, but spend money using various currencies that gets exchanged when making the transaction. Okay, I'll move the record with chair costs over to my main account. As you can see, the amount for the chair got deducted from the account and the record got marked as paid and disappeared from the column. When I click on the settings and show paid records, the record is now dimmed but visible in the column. For now, I will leave this option unmarked. Now, I want to create a recurring cost. I click on the Add Recurring Cost link. This will be a record of my salary. Let's say that I pay myself $4,000 per month. I need to add a category for this cost, so I click on the Select field, then Add Category. I will name this category Team and click Save. Now that I have selected this category, I can write a name for the record. I will call it my salary. Then I need to type the amount I will pay myself each month, which let's say is $4,000. Now let's move this record over to the account. When I do that, you can see that the amount from my salary gets deducted from the account, but the record is still visible. This is because this type of cost is recurring, so I should have the option to pay it as often as needed. When at some point the recurring cost needs to get paid off, all I need to do is select the record and then click on the button Pay Off. Now, the record is marked as paid, and the sum gets deducted from the main account. This is the difference between the columns. The recurring costs column lets you keep repeated costs, weekly, monthly, or even yearly. And one-time costs column enables you to keep the planned expenses so that when you pay for them, you can forget about them. On the far right, you have the total cost module, which sums the columns of recurring and one-time costs. As in the income page, it gets updated whenever you edit any record between those two columns. As with the income records, you can add notes and tasks to any cost record as well. Let's do that. I need to pay myself on the first day of the month because I have some personal payments scheduled on that day, and it would be good to have money to cover that. I remember that I needed to call the accountant about my salary and tax deduction. I will write that to remember. Okay, now I will certainly remember to do that. We have covered everything on the costs page, so now we can go to dashboard for a minute to check how it looks. When we started using the app in the dashboard, all we could see was $0 in every category. After filling out the columns with some records, our financial situation gets much more straightforward. When you fill out the data every week, you will see how your situation changed in the dashboard comparing to the data from the week ago. You will see arrows pointing up and down with percent values to tell you what direction you are going with each column. Okay, now let's move to the last page, history. If you didn't fill out any columns, you will see this illustration encouraging you to do so. But if you did, you will see all the records from the dashboard saved in the history for the current week. If you update your data regularly, each week will be saved for you, so in the future you will see more records from the past in time and be able to compare them. This is the most essential information because it gives you a good look into your company's cash flow. Knowing how much you earn and spend in the past makes it easier to understand and plan for the future. The last two pages need some attention. The first one is a company in which you can manage your accounts, archive your clients, and if you need that, you can change your company's name. On the last page, you can check your subscription. If you don't want to pay anymore, you can cancel it. In the profile settings, you can edit your name, change the time zone, or delete your account. When you do that, you will lose all your data and we won't be able to recover it for you. If you fill out your first and last name in the profile settings, your emails will be personalized. The last subpage lets you change the password. The last thing I want to discuss is our approach to privacy and security. You can always read our terms of service and privacy policy pages. They are linked in the footer on our website. When you registered the account, you got the PDF copy of these pages sent to you with my signed signature. Some of you might wonder what we do with the data, and this is a good question. We don't store your data after deletion. We don't sell nor share the data with any company. Only if you have a problem with the app and explicitly requests us to do so, we might look into it. We value your privacy, security, and comfort, so we do all we can to secure our server and the database to minimize any chance of unauthorized access. Our servers are located in the EU. The configuration is guaranteed and secured by DigitalOcean company. Before we finished building the app, we hired a lawyer to ensure our app is GDPR compliant. I created this app to help people like me to get out of debt, and by doing so, I put my reputation on the line. Thank you for the time that you spent watching this video. This is the first revision of it. I hope this app will improve with your help and feedback, and in time will build a great community of people who mastered their finances. Enjoy using the app, and remember that anytime you need, you can write to me by clicking on the gray feedback link in the dashboard. I want to say a few last words for those in financial debt who think their situation is critical. Please remember that you are not alone. I was in your situation years ago and got out of it. I am sure you can do that too. I hope that the Goodsheet app will help you regain control over your finances, and with the help of the community, you will feel the power to improve your business. I keep my fingers crossed for you and am always open for discussion via email or Slack. Thank you and take care.